Steve, and this is Abandoned, and today I'm in Wilmslow at the Lindo Moss Tramway. Well, I'm going to go and try and find it. Now, the Lindo Moss Tramway is notable amongst other tramways, considering it's probably one of the last, if not the last, peat bog or industrial tramway that was in use in the UK. I've covered tramways that go all the way back to the 1790s, and this time I'm covering a tramway that was in use as recently as the year 2000. So let's go see if I can find any evidence of that. I'm hoping there'll be a fair bit, since it's only about 20 or so years, considering when you watch this video, probably even 30 years since the tramway was discontinued. I've actually just walked down this path behind me, and I think I've tripped over a sleeper, so I'm going to check that out, and then we're going to head down that way towards the main stretch of the tramway, where I believe it is. Well, it definitely is. You can clearly see it on this overhead view of Google Earth here. You can see the tramway running here. You've got a branch to the south, you've got a branch to the north as well. But if you look at the old maps, it's not there at all on the old maps. This is because the tramway came into existence like during the Second World War and then afterwards, and my maps, they go before. I haven't got any maps of this era, so this is going to be an interesting situation where the tramway exists for me, but not on the maps. So let's go and see what we can find. But first, let's check out that sleeper. So this piece of wood on the floor here, I believe, is an old sleeper. Let's just get a closer shot of that. So you can see there's actually a nail sticking out of the sleeper here. You can see they've got the nail sticking out here where it would help the track in place, and this looks very similar to the sort of sleepers I found at the Danes Moss Tramway, which is another moss tramway, as the name would suggest. Gets more peat out the peat bogs, and I believe if I follow this up here, there's another sleeper, possibly here. I've gone further up, I can't find any more this way. However, there is this stone here, but I doubt that's anything to do with it. It does have the letter L in it though, which is interesting. That's new. But I can't see anything else that way, so the other option we've got is to head that way towards the tramway. So let's make haste and head forth onto the tramway. That made sense in some language, I'm pretty sure. Also, this stone, I nearly tripped over it again. It's very much a worked stone. You can see there's actually quite a little bit of a surface going on here. You've got some brick surface here, you do have a cobbled surface here. Now this is on the same alignment as the piece of wood we found earlier, which is just about there. So this is probably something to do with the tramway as well. I can't say the old tramway, since this tramway was in use while I was alive, which is weird. In fact, I believe the locomotives that ran the tramway was here as recently as 2020, taken by the Apedale Valley Railway in Stafford, so they are preserved, the locomotives that ran here. So that's cool. I might see if I can ask them for a picture. There's some masonry there, another big lump over there as well. So let's head down this path to the actual tramway itself. Okay, so according to my map, we are approaching the junction of this footpath here to the tramway. So let's see what we can see. Well, the ground's changed already. You can see it's quite bricky is the word I'd use. It's covered in bricks and other industrial bits as well. That's weird. And this is definitely a T-junction for the tramway. Let's see if we can get that in shot. Wow, I should not have done selfie mode with this one, but oh well. Oh wow. That's a tramway. Let's have a look then. Well, this is obviously an old railway sleeper. Well, that's what that is. That's obviously a heavy rail sleeper that's been brought in. Is there anything left of this tramway? Okay, clicking noise. That is my tripod, making it shorter. Any more sleepers? Is this the tramway? Looks like it to me. Is it? Tramway? Possibly. Definitely tramway. Considering this was in use as recently as 2000, I thought there'd be more left, to be honest with you. I would expect to see at least one sleeper. Let's see if this is one. I mean, I found one already, but that looked a lot older than the other ones. This is one. Hang on. Yeah, I found one. Time to switch the camera around. So here's a sleeper from the tramway. You can see you've got the iconic, you've got the old pin here that went into the sleeper. So that's the iron pin, like the one I found at Danes Moss. And you've got the same looking piece of wood that we had up at the footpath end, which I don't know why that's up there. None of the sources I've seen says the tramway runs up there, but it clearly did go up there. So maybe it moved around a lot in its 70-year history or so, 60-year history. Oh well, time to have a walk through Lindo Moss. Now, Lindo Moss is known for something else other than a tramway. This is where the body of the Lindo man was discovered, hidden deep within the moss. The Lindo man was an Iron Age person who sadly met his demise within the moss itself, and it preserved his body quite well. So that is something else that you may know this area from. If you've heard of Lindo Moss or Lindo Common, it'd be because of the Lindo man, if you're into your Iron Age archaeology. But as we are right now, we're walking down the route of the old tramway, and I'm seeing a lot of bricks and other stuff all over the ground, but I'm not seeing any, what's it called? Tramway, there we go. But there is a plane. It is very weird out here. It is very quiet, apart from the barking of dogs from a pet sanctuary quite a way that way. The sound really carries across the peat bog. You can also see there's this fine mist that's layering over the peat bog as well, which is quite something. And to think, I'm actually walking on the track bed of the this tramway now, which I've forgotten to mention. This is definitely the track bed because it's built up quite high from the peat bog below, of which if you were to probably fall in, you would end up much like our friend from the Iron Age era. This bog's obviously been here a very long time. Now this is a junction in the tramway, so if you head down there, you get towards a sign that says do not enter. That's because I think that is where the old works and that are. I'm not going to say was, because I think the building is still there. We'll go down and have a check out, and I'll call the video a day there. More tramway goes off that way. There's another junction further up that way, according to my maps. And this is the way we came. So, away that way we head. So very different from my other tramway videos, considering how recent it is. But considering how recent it is, I'm surprised at how little there is left. I'm assuming when it closed, everything was taken up and used elsewhere. Where the track went, I don't know. And we do know the locomotives obviously went to the Apedale Valley Light Railway. I believe this is another sleeper here, so they didn't quite clear up that bit. We're getting a bit more... getting a bit more remains, sorry. Got another possible sleeper there. As we head up this way through the woods, looks like they are constructing something. I have found a platform of some description. What this is, I do not know. If it's to do with the railway, I also do not know. Yeah, they obviously they're doing some redevelopment here. The tramway used to run down there to the buildings in the distance, where the locomotives were found and taken to the Apedale Railway, I believe. I'd love for the Apedale Railway to actually come in and correct me on that. But for now, we are probably going to call it a day pretty soon. Time to spin the camera around and get my thoughts on the matter. Because who cares about a tramway? You want to hear the opinion of some guy on YouTube. That's what you're here for. Let's make this longer. Oh! Now I am Steve, but at a distance. So, the tramway, what do I think? Well, I think, for one, it's a bit of a shame that the last tramway that we had in the UK hasn't kept going in a capacity. What do I think about the remains of the tramway? Well, there's obviously an embankment, there's obviously the old track bed that I'm walking on right now. Other than that, not a whole lot. You've got the old bric-a-brac, I don't know if that's the right word, but it's the word that I feel fits for just things that have been left in the ground. So you've got bricks, you've got all sorts of demolition rubble left in the ground. You've got the old sleeper knocking around, but there's no rails whatsoever. No, I feel in sleepers that are actually in situ. I think the ones that I found weren't in situ. I don't think the one up the footpath end, that I don't think it's a tramway. I think that one found its way up there by happenstance. And the one that I found down there, possibly the only one in situ, but I don't know. However, this is one of the few tramways where there's lots and lots of pictures of it. I'll make sure to put some links in the description down the bottom for a website that has a bunch of pictures taken in 1999 of the tramway in action. I won't include them in the video, they're not mine to include. This is my video to include. Me and my very long pole. So I can get shots like that. I don't know what that looked like.